Hey guys, this is for your as you go on your journey. This is for the guys. This is for the from men slash boys to kings. This is your topic too to help you on your journey of becoming who God created you to be. So today's topic to follow up the last one is going to be man versus king. So you can start acknowledging, accepting the difference of the two, and you can start taking the strides and steps to become the greater, which is the king version of yourself. All right, so man, a man, men transition as they live, grow, and experience life. How you respond, react, how you respond and react will help you see what stage of manhood you are in. So, we have boys. We're going to just establish that as being from birth to 18. Now, I know a couple of boys that may watch this may feel a little offended because you may feel like you're more of a man than most men at age. I'm just trying to establish a age group. You'll see more of this as I explain further. Now, a man, we would establish starting at the age of 18 and older. This is a transition to the king. So you're going from boy, man to king. Now, a man, the difference between a man and a boy and also a king is normally men operate, they're uninformed or misled, and they're operating from the world views. That's not saying that being a man, all men, this is a negative thing. These are the things that are just blocking you from becoming a king. So everybody may not, all men may not even have this problem or have this issue or have this obstacle before them. But for the men who have a hard time transitioning over to a king status or even transitioning to the king status and remaining a king, because some of us, we tend to get to that status, but then something happens and then we step back. Or we take the crown off for a minute to address something that's beneath us or to revert back to an old habit that wouldn't be befitting of a king. All right, now, when we think about a king is determined by their behavior, their mindset, the fruit they produce, the seeds that they sow, and their connection to God. Now, that's not in any specific order, because if I had to put it in a specific order, I would have put connection to God first. That was just a list of the things that would be different between a man and a king. So a man's behavior and a king's behavior is definitely going to be different. A man's mindset and a king's mindset is going to be different. Again, this is not to bash or down a man. This is to establish the difference between a man and a king. Because every man is not acting like a king or wearing the crown or the role of a king. A king is who you are, who you're supposed to be, just like a man. That, it defines, when somebody say I'm a king, it should actually let them know. You shouldn't even have to do nothing. They should be able to expect a certain behavior. When you speak and when you interact, you should have a certain mindset when you speak to individuals that other than a man. Because remember, a man is someone who may be uninformed or misled, operating from the worldly views. That's the main thing that's different between a man and a king is a man is operating in the worldly realm without their connection to God. The king is operating in the worldly, or I would say the spiritual realm, as God says not to conform to the worldly realm. But this is the transition we're talking about. So next, the things that set the stages apart. You're born a boy. And then as you mature and you grow into a man, that's a physical. And then you transition into a king, which is both spiritual, mental, and physical. Because the stature of a king, all those elements of your being is affected by that. You walk different. You present yourself different. When you enter a room as a king, it's going to be different from when you enter the room as a man. Trust me, when you enter the room with those different things, you think that your behaviors and your mindsets and the fruit that you produce and the seeds that you sow and your connection to God can't be felt or seen when you enter a room. It can be, and it will be. So when you say people misjudged you, how did you enter the room? Did you enter the room as an uninformed, misled person, living according or looking everything from the worldly realm, or seeing things from the worldly views? Or are you a king operating with a godly behavior that's pleasing to God, with a godly mindset? And are you doing the things that God has created you to do, producing good fruit? And are you sowing seed where God has shown you and led you to? And is your connection to God what's leading you? Again, the difference between a man and a king is man is worldly view, king is the connection to God. That makes you a king. That connection to God and you operating in that realm, that makes you a king. But you have to do it consistently to actually be able to proudly and own that role or that crown. All right, your presence and words and behavior will be the evidence of who you are. So a king will respond to confrontation, hardship. A king is going to respond different from a man. They're going to just respond different. Because a man is not a king, is just a man, again, operating in the worldly realm, not operating under the rules and regulations of God or under the leading and guidance of God and the Holy Spirit. Now, very important, your word and actions must line up. Again, this goes back to the consistency of being a man. Yeah, you're going to wake up and be a man every day, but once you step out of your bed and you go speak to your wife or your kids, are you speaking to them as you are a king? Are you speaking with wisdom and authority? Are you speaking from a leading standpoint? Are you leading them in the things that they should do and not just dictating? A lot of people get the man thing confused because society just has you believe that being a man has only to do with your anatomy or has only to do with your physical. That's boy. Boy. That's boy. That takes no thought. That takes no extra anything. You born into that. But then as you transition and you grow and you start to experience life, certain things make you become a man, not only just age. Because I've seen some young guys who are more manly than some of these grown men over the age, well over the age of 40, maybe even 30. I mean, but then that comes to their experience. They may have a different experience. They might already have the connection to God. So they might be well aware that they are kings and they have to mature into that. Because they haven't had enough life experience to full out own the kingship. All right, so next is your words have power only when the necessary actions follow. That's another difference between king versus man. A man does not understand or value or see the impact he has on others. Most times, men only understand the impact other people have on them and how they feel justified in who they are and what they're doing because of other people. A king, he owns his stuff. A king will make sure that the words that he speaks power over his situation, his circumstances, his life, his family. And he understands that his actions, his follow through is necessary. A man will just talk. A man will just speak about it. Because they know, men, like I say, I didn't say they was lack of knowledge. I said uninformed. They have information, but it's wrong or is slighted or is tinted or is misled or just half truths, not the full compass of what truth is for a man. I don't know how you want to word it, but that's one thing. These are some of the very important things that you will know as you transition from man to king. So the first one was your word and your action must line up. Make that a practice. The more you do that, you'll start feeling more like a king. You'll be able to People will be able to trust how you move, trust your word and how you show up in their life. The second was your words. Your words have power. Understand that your words do have power. As a king, that is one of the things that you know your words have power. That's why you use them. You use them to cut people down if you want to. But the thing about me is, y'all can use those words in a way to raise a nation, to break generational strongholds and curses. You all can speak things into existence that women can't do because of how God created things, the order of things. Y'all got a lot on y'all shoulder. I'm not gonna pretend like y'all got it easy, or the decisions and how things operate and going for y'all is it's not easy. But you have to work at it just like everything else. Anything that you want to happen, or anything that you want to succeed at, you got to work on it, right? So this is one of those things. Do you want to be a king or not? Right? Okay, so if you want to be a king, you're going to make sure your words and your actions line up. You're going to understand that your words have power. And the power is not only in your words, but it's also in your follow through to be the king that's necessary to see it through. Number 3 is actions will speak louder than words if they don't line up. So you don't even have to tell a person whether you're a king for real. Oh, women know. I know mothers know. Other kings know. When you show up and you speak, how you show up, it will tell everybody else around you if you're a man or a king. And the good thing about this is how you show up one day won't dictate how they see you the next. Because you can show up a king later. Just understand that first time wasn't probably quite right. Okay? So, that was the third one. Actions will speak louder than words if they do not line up. So, if you know you are not speaking right, you still need to act accordingly. You can't even separate the two. You need to do both. As a king, that's the difference between you and a man. You're doing both. Don't split hairs. Do what's right so that you can experience life the way God intended you to. This is about you becoming who God created you to be. You were created to be a king. You were created to be more than just a man living according to the world's standards and views. You're supposed to be living according to the connection that you have with God so you can fulfill the purpose that He put you here for. Which is I promise you, is more than what the world gonna even try to encourage you to be. The next one, allow your spiritual connection to God to be the driving force behind your mindset, which will ultimately guide your actions, behavior, words, as well as your impact on yourself and others. I know that was a little wordy, so I'm going to say it again because I remember that was really important when I was writing these notes for this one. The Holy Spirit kind of touched me, and I was like, yeah, that's everything right there in one sentence. The basic thing that you should definitely carry with you as you transition from whether you're a boy, a man, a king, if you're trying to jump over the man and go straight to the king, whatever your journey is, there is no set way to get there. That's the other thing. These are just guidelines. These are things to help you get there. These are just ways to help smooth out your journey, to help you recover. Just some feet print to follow in the sand. For somebody who has either done it before or somebody who has been informed about how you can move forward. And it may help you. Some stuff may help you that I'm talking about, and some stuff may not. But I say pray. Your connection to God will lead you to the things that I'm saying that will help you. Okay? So I'm going to say that sentence again. Allow your spiritual connection to God to be the driving force behind your mindset, which will ultimately guide your actions, behaviors, words, as well as your impact on others and yourself. Okay? Spiritual connection, I told you the first part. That was, if I had to put one first, that would have been it. I mean, without the connection to God, you're just a man. Your power comes from Him, your strength comes from Him, your wisdom comes from Him. He created you. Again, don't forget. I told you what? A boy is born. But then I also told you in a couple of other videos that we must remember, first, we were created, and then we were born. God created us. Then we were born. We done with the birth part. We done with being birthed from our parents or our mother. We're now in the other part where we are living out what we were created for. Okay? All right, so just as a little pep talk, so men, it's time for you all to take your rightful place in the home, in the world, and in the church. I know y'all feel it. You gotta feel it. I feel it. It's time for y'all to take y'all rightful place. And these steps will help you transition into it. This is not an overnight. Nothing that I'm saying on none of my videos is overnight. There's a transition, there's a process, there's a journey. And these are just the things that you can consistently work on that will show you and move you forward in your journey, in your process of becoming who God created you to be. If you do these things consistently, you will notice a year from now, 6 months from now, and so for some people, maybe the next day, you may experience something different, depending on your connection to God. Because how much of this you experience and how on fire you are about it, or the depth of its impact on your life, is going to be based on that connection with God. That's why I say that part is first. Work on that. 2 of the things that you can do to work on your connection with God, just some simple things. First thing in the morning before you get out the bed, pray to God before you make a move. Last thing at the evening, I don't care what frame of mind you in. It don't matter. Mad, upset, intoxicated, whatever. Whatever your frame of mind is at night, the very last thing you do is pray to God. Whatever that prayer is between you and Him. Those type of things mature and transition to as you grow along your process of becoming who God created you to be. Okay? So, I know people don't say it, but I know we need more men/kings operating in their God-given purpose. And we need you all to play the roles that you all were designed and created to play. We need that. We need it. We see it every day where a man hasn't shown up, or he showed up and he didn't show up as a king. He showed up misinformed. So when you show up misinformed, you misinform everybody around you. Your impact is negative. When you don't show up in the proper form that God intended you to, I know it's hard to accept, but women have to accept it. But then that's one of those things when everybody always had that controversial statement that when women have kids, they don't have a choice. They gotta do it. It's that kind of thing. It's the same situation. You gotta do it. It's necessary. And when you don't, the consequences belong to everybody else. Everybody else that you are impacting gonna live that out. You don't have a choice to whether you're gonna impact the next person or not. As a man, you will. Every day that you wake up and go outside your house, you are impacting somebody. Even if you stay in your house and you got people in your house and they see you laying around and not doing nothing, you're impacting their view of what a man is. You're showing it's acceptable even when they know it's not. So you have to get to a point where you own what a king is and display that behavior on a regular basis. You're going to get the biggest reward in that. Everybody else, I talk about this trickle-down effect. You only have one role to really play. And if you play that one right, all the rest of the roles that God intends for you to play, they'll be satisfied. They'll be right how they're supposed to be. Be a child of God. Be the man God created you to be. Connect with Him. Allow the Holy Spirit to lead you in all things that you do. Understand that you're going to make mistakes and you're not your bad behavior. The things that are from your past, they don't dictate your future. You can be more. If you want to be more, it's your choice. Nobody can stop you. I'm telling you, and I said in a lot of my videos, nobody can stop God's will for your life but you. You can allow other people to do that, but then again, you're going to have to own up that's your choice. It's your connection to God, the wisdom you're going to get from God, the leading of the Holy Spirit along the journey that God has already preordained for you to have. You just have to follow and understand that one of the things I know that's going to be hard for you, because it was hard for me, it's hard for anybody who's gone through the journey. Talk to some people who have gone through the process. Talk to some people who have chosen God for themselves. They'll tell you. Accepting that you've been wrong for a long time is hard. But it's the only way to get to the other side of wrong, which is right. If you don't accept that you're wrong and figure out how to make that change to do what's right, because you did, first of all, you didn't do wrong just because you thought you needed to do wrong. You did wrong because at the moment or at the time you were misinformed, or you thought you were doing it for the right reasons. Whatever the reason may be, people don't just do wrong just to do wrong. Something provoked you. Some kind of seed was sown that got you to do it. So that's the part you need to look at. What made you do something wrong? Okay? And put this on your wall. Like, put it somewhere where you see it on a regular. Implant it in your spirit. You were created to lead and impact.